Brasil. Muito obrigado pela paixão, para vosso coração. Vocês são muito incríveis. Você tem meu coração também.
That's nice.
I said some really cool things, guys.
About Charlie.
Yeah, about Charlie. All about Charlie.
Yeah.
So in CCXP, you tasted some of the Brazilian passion for Rebel Moon. How do you feel about such a warm reception?
Absolutely amazing. As Debbie Snyder said yesterday, I've never had the experience before, I don't think any of us have, of being able to actually give the film, show the film to like the people we made it for first. Normally it's like people like you, no offense, but like film critics and like peers and industry people, and it's not really who we make the film for, so it was amazing.
Oh my God, we feel really good about it.
It was really unlike anything I've ever experienced, you know, and I've been to quite a number of comic conventions, and this is probably the best outpouring of love and passion that I've ever seen from fans.
It was amazing. It made us feel like rock stars.
Geeky rock stars.
Yeah.
Rock stars, yeah.
It was incredible to see people's reaction straight after the movie, and so much energy was up there. I feel like I was on tour again when I used to dance.
Oh yeah, that's right. You used to dance.
Yeah.
It's rare for a movie because this was a weird and once sort of in a lifetime experience to have the movie play, and then we walk out there when they're seen, and for the first time, sort of in a very sort of live performance kind of.
It was like a
feeling.
concert.
It was like a live.
It was. I came off the rehearsal. I was like, I feel like Mick Jagger, man. I was like, I cannot wait to come back here when the room is full. And you know, there's a lot of Brazilians in London. The one thing that I always see from Brazilians is like passion, enthusiasm, joy, and they love pop culture.
Yeah.
They love pop culture. So like, this is the perfect storm.
It's funny you talking about tour and concerts because Ray described it as if you were geek rock stars.
Yeah, I'll be the geeked out Mick Jagger, I'll take that.
Were those all shows that paid you working for the Mother World? I don't like bounty hunters.
I didn't ask. And to be clear, I don't like bounty hunters either.
And the cast and crew of Rebel Moons talks all the time about how good, how cool it was, the production. So I'd like to ask you if you can share some favorite memories, some favorite moments from the production.
Overall, it was fun, and having a gym on set and at the studio, and having trainers cater to you. That was a great luxury to have, you know, getting into the mindset of this film, this story.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think one of the most amazing things was, and I think it really helped us bond as a cast, was we were essentially, I don't want to say forced, but we were required to do this very strenuous kind of workout routine. And
No, we were forced.
It's like the little side jokes we've got going on, right? The running gags. I remember we have a scene where we're coming out with these crates, and the crates don't have anything in them, right? Because doing 20 takes of carrying these crates, your arm would be done. But in between one of the takes, Michiel takes some of the weights, the sandbags that hold the lights and stuff down, and puts them in the crate of Djimon and Staz. So when they pick up their crate, they're like, did this get heavier? It couldn't have. Okay, fine.
Honestly, for me, it was getting to know everybody. I think Zack, and you can observe that with the people that he has around him behind the camera. He's also able to put together a group of people that have so much talent, but also are so human and are just genuinely kind people. After the 10 months of shooting, I remember not wanting to rap. I was happy every morning that I came, even if it was hard at times. It's not easy just to show up on set, the hours that we work in, the conditions in with the weather, but I was excited. I just didn't want it to end.
Yeah. I remember hearing stories about The Revenant. One of my friends was one of the lead stunt guys on that, and he said it was so tough. The hardest thing he's ever done. He almost got hypothermia. You know, I sat in the cinema and I watched that, and I thought, wow, I would love to do something like that where it's worth it in the end.
Like Sofia says, like what we did a lot of the time was like really hard. You know, it's like hard stuff, and everyone's like exhausted. Then there's like an explosion, or it's like slightly dangerous. The real joy for me is that I would look around at these guys or at my guys, And those are the people I want to be like in the trenches with, because those are the guys that I trust, and so it makes it okay. You know, you can imagine in another scenario you'd be like, oh God, like I'm doing this for these people. It's insane, but
when you go through something as hard as a team and you come out of it, I don't think it becomes unbreakable. And I can relate that to when I used to be on tour, when I used to be a dancer. This is the hardest thing since being on tour that I've done.
You know what's great though, also, you just made me think of it, is I did a portrait book. It's like a yearbook, you know, like
the class of 2022.
Like, literally.
Oh God!
And so it's very nostalgic when you look at it, because like, you know, I see, because I have a photo of Ed on the first costume test, you know, where he's like just intense. Then I have like shots of him where he's eating this, like it's near the end. He's got his like bones sticking out. He's eating his apple.
There's blood all over the apple.
All over his face.
My makeup artist Aurora was putting blood on, and Zach was like, "More." He was coming back putting blood. More. I was like, just throw a bucket of blood on my face.
Under free will, who among you is willing to die for what we believe, rather than hide behind it?
I'm kind of surprised because you had serious injuries by that time and you seem really happy to be here, so...
You know, it sort of goes with the territory. It's a little bit unfortunate. You know, it is a very physical job and more dangerous than you would actually think from the outside world, you know? And there's a part of me that's getting older now and getting less and less tolerant of being injured, but it sort of just goes with the territory, you know? Whether it's like being in a place shooting foreign where you don't have like the bacterial resilience to support it, like I shot in India for a long, long time and got very, very sick the whole time, or you're doing something super physical, you know, I'm like in my 40s now, you're gonna, you know, you drop on the floor, you don't just bounce back up anymore, so.
I'm in my 20s and I feel the same, I can't imagine you.
Yeah, right.
And the Rebel Moon universe is huge with tons of planets and spaceships and creatures and all of that. So what was your favorite part of this movie?
These sets were so amazing and so creative. It's hard to pick a favorite, but maybe I picked my place, Veld, the place where my character is from. They really built an entire village, basically, including a river that was flowing down, and it was a really inspiring set to be in.
It's been cool too, like the practical sets were amazing, and then we also had these experiences where we shot on a soundstage, so then seeing the movie, it's like you see everything come to life that you'd only seen on Zach's iPad or in his describing it, so it's just as magical for us as it is for the fans, really.
There is actually a moment that I loved so much when we were at like the final battle in part one, on that location, that station. I remember there's a moment where we look up or something, and then there's a spaceship in the sky, and we were asking Zach, like, okay, so how big is this? What do I imagine? And then he said, "Oh, let me get the model." And then he remember that? He busted out like a model, this
like the
size
scale.
of this. But then imagine it being in the sky and being like, you know, like 2 skyscrapers tall. Okay. But it's like, where did this come from? Like, who is all making all this?
For my final question, what can we expect for part 2 without giving too much?
If you liked 1, you will love 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one thing to be said is there's a reason why it's called part 1 and part 2 and not Rebel Moon 1 and Rebel Moon 2. These are 2 halves of the same coin, and it's good to remember that when you're watching the first one, you know, because this story spans in Zach's mind over 800 years, but even in this linear kind of state we're in right now, it does span over 2 movies. So I think that's one thing to remember. These are 2 halves of a whole, and I think you get to see more of the inner workings between all of us. I think you get to see how we all got there. Get a deeper dive.
So much more into each characters
and the brutality, right? You know, we had a little bit of war going on, a little bit of conflict, obviously towards the end of the first movie, but the second movie really dials into something pretty maniacal and pretty epic. So yeah.
No, it's good. Actually, that was better than my answer. Really
Keep that in, by the way. Don't cut that thing where I get that approval. Thank you.
It's a new age for the universe.